my head is all about visuals. It truly is. It's just like, I look at everything as a box. You know, it's a 16 by 9 box. And I look at how it'd be framed up and what's not on the outside of it, but what's right there. And, you know, so much of what I do at Luft is about intuition. I've shot so many commercials, I've shot so many print ads, and it's just fun to take all of that and point it right into the Porsche world, especially the air-cooled world, which I'm so passionate about. There's 2 levels for me in building this. Is just that I want to have the photo ops in there. I want to have places that are the photograph I would have taken. You know, picture if I had driven in the Universal Studios with a, you know, 356 GT, let's say, and it's silver, and I got the opportunity to drive all over Universal Studios and position in perfect position. I want to create about 70 of those with different colored cars, different eras of cars, different things like that. So that's my challenge, is really to kind of keep it flowing so that from the crowd standpoint, as they come in, there's discovery throughout. I mean, I look at how long I massage a shot, especially coming from my still world, where we'd spend, you know, 2 hours setting everything up, making it perfect, and then waiting for the perfect light, and then clicking that shutter at the perfect moment, all those kind of things. That kind of all goes away, and you go into this, you know, intuitive, reactive mode of, there's a red 964 coming in, Carrera RS, and then there's a red 356 that happens to be the same color. Let's run them nose to nose, or something like that. There's just these moments all the time. You're bombarded with great photographic moments, and you just kind of have to react to it all the way through. It's interesting to me because it's almost like a very consolidated study in what appeals to people. You know, the next morning, it's clear what the big highlight cars were. You know, all of a sudden it's all this car or all that car, or what the big backgrounds were. You know, for me, with my rally background and doing the things I do, of course, when I saw Mexico, which was this dirt lot with all the old, you know, Spanish architecture and everything, that had to be rally, you know. We had a natural evolution, and we had an early SCCA Pro Rally car. We had my 1994 championship car, and then we had this incredible, you know, Monte Carlo rally car sitting there that was just, we've all seen it on the posters and everything else. So that was the inspiration. And then on the other side, I kind of put the, you know, the spin-offs of it. We had one of Lee Keen's cars. We had cars that were just, you know, all inspired by that one car. So I made that platform car be our inspiration. I jokingly said to Patrick, I said, did you ever imagine something you created would be on a movie marquee? So having Luftgekühlt 6 up there. And then, you know, for at least my generation and so many people in the Porsche world, the most influential, memorable film ever was the movie Le Mans. So to have a 917K that represented the movie Le Mans underneath that marquee, it would just seem like there was no other choice there. When I first went to the back lot, obviously you see all the big buildings and you see the things that are so familiar from the movies, but there's these buried little things within the whole venue, which in this case was an alley, and it wasn't even a straight alley, it kind of weaved around, and you came to this courtyard that was about 3 stories tall of this little square in there, and there was a cool old graphic painted on the wall and everything. And I thought, you know, if I lead somebody down there, they're going to be so disappointed that I buried them down this alley. But I found a guy who got there very early in the morning. He had a great white 911. I needed something bright to put in there. And I said, would you mind if you were a little bit outside of the center of the show and you ran to the end of the alley? He goes, no, I'd be fine. And so I drive him down this alley and it's barely light in the morning. And I'm sure he's wondering what in the world we're going to do back there. And then there was just this square. And when the light came up, he was thanking me. So it was a good thing. There's few cars that are more iconic for Porsche than the 550 Spyder, and certainly from the film world, James Dean, and it seemed perfect to have on a studio lot a 550. And so I thought, well, if it's going to sit there right in front of the door and have a lot of light from the outside, let's put a spotlight right down hard on top of it and watch the layers and everything else that you'll be able to see in that sort of lighting. And this is chassis number 90. It's the last 550 made. It has so many stories to tell just looking at the patina on it, the little dents on it, the way the leather straps have worn, and all the things about it. It's just something that you can just spend hours looking at. For every year we have a poster car, and so for this year we had the marathon car, the 914 6GT from the Collier collection, and we always try to separate the poster car from the rest of the cars. Well, I'd always been attracted to this big fire station door. It's red, and this car was orange, and it had really cool graphics on it, an incredible history to it, and I thought, well, let's put it in front of there, and then let's put it in exactly the same position as the poster. And then the funny part that happened is a few days in advance I noticed that there was a number 2 over the door of the fire station, and the car was number 2. So it's one of those things where everything kind of aligns, and mimicking the angle from the poster there was something that, again, if you were walking around the camera, you'd get down there and go, that kind of looks familiar. Well, the reason why, it's this thing. So that's why. That was a lot of work. We made it. Hey, Pat Long, looks like we're good here. Looks like we're good. I told somebody the other day that if you think about all the productions that have happened at Universal, I guarantee this is the biggest production that's ever happened with the smallest group of people. And we're doing it through passion and through just, wanting to execute a great idea. So this is an event that will visually give for years to come, because the story doesn't just close when the end of the show ends. The story goes on and is archived and is storied in all forms, and it really is kind of magical what happens the day after Luft, what happens the week after, what happens months after. It's a really special event.